everyone, Chris Campbell here with Resolutions Counseling and the Resolutions Podcast with another Healthy Harrison tip. And today I want to talk about box breathing as a form of stress management. Now, if you are paying attention to some of our stress management tips, you know that we already gave a 5-step tip regarding stress management in an earlier video. And today, I want to back up to step 1, which was pause and breathe. And I want to elaborate on that in a way that I think is going to be a little more helpful for you. There is a method of breathing that's called box breathing. It comes to us actually primarily through special operations groups, special forces in the military, who have taught men and women who are dropped into very intense crisis-inducing situations where anxiety is amplified and there's a fear factor involved with that. They've taught them a specific way of breathing that allows them to bring their focus in a pinpoint way. And the principle that they preach among these special op groups is that if your focus is greater than your anxiety or greater than your fear, you can think yourself through to a successful outcome. And so box breathing is something that they've taught these military men and women, these GIs, to help them to bring their focus back in when they need it most as a form of stress management. Box breathing is very simple, and it sounds much like it's executed with our breathing pattern of inhaling, holding, exhaling, holding. We are actually going to be making a box figuratively with the pattern that we're following. And we're going to do it on a 5-second intervals. So what we will do is we will take our time and draw in a nice deep breath over the course of a 5-second period. And then once we have our lungs full, we are going to hold that breath for, again, 5 seconds. And then when it's time to release and exhale, we're going to do that in a controlled, measured way for 5 seconds. And then with our lungs empty, we're once again going to hold without inhaling for 5 seconds. And we're going to complete a box, so to speak, as we do this. And it's really easy. You can imagine taking your finger and sort of drawing as we go along. So box breathing, one cycle of practicing box breathing goes like this. First of all, inhale slowly for 5 seconds. And then you would hold for 5 seconds. And in a controlled way, exhale 5 seconds, emptying the lungs. And then with empty lungs, hold for 5 seconds. Now, that's just one cycle. What you would want to do as you're trying to regain your focus, as you're trying to bring back your capacity to be really critically thinking, is you would just repeat that cycle for as many times as necessary. And it's really astonishing what that does for a person. Maybe just prior to a sales pitch where there's a lot of things riding on it, or maybe before stepping into a room where your child needs correction and you're trying to hold it together in that moment. Maybe it's a tough conversation that could be emotionally charged with that significant other, or maybe it's just really trying to get yourself to be calm enough to fall asleep at night. Box breathing will bring you back into a state of focus where good things can happen. So, as another tool for stress management, try out box breathing. That's 5 seconds of a controlled inhale and hold for 5 seconds. 5 seconds of a controlled exhale and hold for 5 seconds. And then you repeat that cycle as many times as necessary. I would say maybe a minimum of 5 to 6 times. I'm Chris Campbell with Resolutions Counseling and the Resolutions Podcast, and that's your Healthy Harrison tip for today.